So let's get started with the AutoCAD software itself. Now we'll try to understand this AutoCAD software and various commands that we use to prepare the plan, right? So like when you start AutoCAD, this is what like interface that you'll see by default. Yes, but I mean this is just like say install. That's how you can see there are some graphic settings that it is asking. You may ignore that. Now if you have already existing project, then you may start like clicking that open, and you can select the file which has extension of dwg, right? So that you can do. Otherwise you may start with the new project which will have like say dwt. That's a template. For example, here's a few templates that are shown, so you can use these templates also for like say to start with. But generally we start with the new drawing. So for new drawing you can click on this plus sign, and if you click you will see this interface, right, which I already shown you previously. Now when you are like say here, if you like say first time if you are working with this AutoCAD, then maybe first of all you can change this background. Instead of black you can go with the white background. Why? Because most of the time when you take a print, then the print will be on white page, and then color combination and all, like if you do with the black background, then it may be a problem when you take a print out, right? So for example, if you use a light color line and white black background, that may be like appear good, but when you take a print out, then it may be a problem. So for that, what you do, you click on the like right click on your mouse, and then left click to select this, and then in this like say file, and then next option, next tab is say display. So in display you click on color, and then from here black you select it white, and then apply, and then this background will change to white, right? Even if you want to use like say white or light color say color theme, that can also be possible. So you click on the light, this is optional definitely, and then apply, and then say okay, right? So your AutoCAD will have the now white background. Next, what another important part, this grid lines that maybe like say sometime useful, sometime we don't need them. So like here in the status bar you can see that grids are like say on. So if you click on it, it will be disappear, right? So you can bring, it can disappear. And if you want to like say use this grid line and the grid point, then further you can snap the grid point, you can do on and off, right? So if you are like say snap, then the line these grid points will only be selected. So I don't want both, so I'm just like say closing them, right? Now first like say we have to like say use this like say drawing like say part, or like say ribbon that we will be using, then some modify, and then annotation layer block. Okay, we may not need at present, so we may ignore this one. Property, yeah, we will be required, and then group also will use, right? So let me tell you one by one command. Already informed you about this various types of like say that desktop interface that you see in AutoCAD. So first of all, like you should save the project. So you click here, or maybe you can directly click here. So you or like say save as, so that option can be like say pop up here, or you may click on this A, and then like say here save as. So you can save at desired location. I'm saving it on the desktop. So this is like say example, or let me be Tut 01, right? So that, and then the file extension is dwg, I told you, right? So there are some previous AutoCAD version, for that you may need to save some lower like say format of dwg, but 2018 onward, like it is readable to all the other newer or up to 2018 version of AutoCAD, right? So you'll just click update, sorry, save. So now it this is got saved. Now here you can see that the name of this also got changed to like say Tut, right? So let's understand first how to make a line, because that's the most fundamental thing. So either you can click here. When I say click, that means it is always a left click. If it is required right click, I'll tell you. Right, so first of all, like say you click on this one, right. Now before that, again, yeah, important part, that you need to set the units, input unit. So we'll set the input unit. For this you just type un, right? So in command prompt you can or command like say prompt, the window, that you can write down un and then enter. So this is like say drawing units that you need to set. So here like you have various options. For example, architectural, so it will be showing feet, inches, and then fraction, and then like say decimal. So typically like say decimal values will be shown. Engineering, again it will use like say feet, inches with decimal, and in architectural you will get a fraction, right? So that way. But since we are using as unit system, so here we will be using decimal. So up to what like say precision you want, that you can decide. For example, if your inputs are meter, right, so you may need like say point like say after decimal point at least 2 digit precision, right? And if you are working with millimeter, then you may not need that accurate, like say up to some decimal. So in that case, like say up to 0 decimal only, like say you will be interested to read or like say give the inputs, right? So that's how I'm now my inputs are in millimeter, so I'm using like say 0. Similarly, angle can also be like mentioned, maybe up to 2 degree precision. Apart from that, like very important part in AutoCAD, by default, like say clockwise is considered as negative and anti-clockwise is considered positive, right? So I'm using that anti-clockwise positive only, and then click OK, right? So now units are set. Either you, as I was telling, so you can use a line command. For that you may just type L, and then line command will be like say appear. All almost command which are there with the L, that can be appear here, but we are interested in the line. Or maybe you can select downward arrow or upper arrow, up arrow to select this. So line and then enter. So now here if you see in the like here in the command line, then it is asking for the first point. So line will have like say start point, end point. So like say this is my start point and this is my then once you click on the first point, once again I am telling, click means you have to do left click, right? So once you click on the left point, then next like say you can click on the next point, right? So or maybe you can keep like your cursor like say at desired location, and you can mention this dimension now, which is like here you can see that 287, or let it be something like this, like now you can see this dimension as 1993, right? So that also you can change to 2000 and enter, right? So you can create a line by this one, right? So a number of way you can just like say apart from that, now you can see that I wish to create another line which can start from the end point of this line, right? So if my cursor goes near that, you can see that this rectangular block is created, and then end point is like say selected. So why it is happening? Because now my object snap option is on. If I click on, if I off that, then now even if your cursor goes to near to that point, then it won't get selected. So like what you can do, you can like say turn on this object snap. Then if your cursor goes near that, by default it will pick the end points, right? Even there are options like say midpoint also selected. By chance if your midpoint is not getting selected, then here you check that the midpoint option is like say ticked, right? So perpendicular, these are some like say generally we required. Endpoint we required, midpoint, center, nodes, like say if you are if you wish to select any point in the drawing, then node is like use, then intersection, extension sometime, then perpendicular. So these are like say frequently used snap point that we use. So you can close this one, right? Now even like say midpoint, so if if next line is starting from midpoint, then you can select from midpoint. If you want to start it from this point, you can select this point, right? So I'm selecting this one. Yeah, another very important part, that now like say if you want to make perfectly vertical and horizontal lines only, then this ortho command is there. If you click on this ortho, now currently you can see that it is like say off. If you click on ortho, then either you can create a vertical line or a vertical line or a horizontal line, right? So that way only you will able to click the line. So just I am like say making a line which is maybe say 2000 long. So just I created a line. Now you can understand that when I draw the first line, it is not like say exactly horizontal line, right? Because I have just done it like say using cursor, but there is no ortho. That time it was off, so like say I could not able to draw perfectly horizontal line. But when my ortho is on, that time like I am able to draw a horizontal line. Now another thing, like maybe you can see that the length of line is changing. Why this is? Because of like say I'm using the scroller to zoom in and zoom out this line, right? So if you are having a mouse which has like say left click, right click, scroller, and then fourth option that maybe in some mouses are available, that is like say you can click the ruler also, right? So that fourth option may be available in the most of the mouse. Now it is available. So all four has a different like say uses. First, left click generally to select, and that for that we use a left click. Right click like say to see some additional option, that time you do a right click. And then ruler, if you like say scroll outside, then you can zoom in the like say drawings, and if you scroll out scroll in, then it will be zoom out, right? So this zoom in and zoom out is possible with the this ruler or the scroller, right, on the mouse. So let me delete one line. So now I wish to select, now how to select an object. To select an object, existing object, there are ways to do it. So one way, like you can click on that object, left click, and then it will get selected, right? So the top line is now selected. If you want to select another line, you can zoom in and then you can select the another line, right? So this way. Once you select the object, and if you want to deselect, then you can press on escape button, so it will be like say come out of the selection. Now there are some other ways also. Now this is just a line, so it is easy to click on that line and you can select. But if you have multiple lines and lot many other things, in that case you cannot click on one by one object. For that, what you can do, you can use a selection window. So selection window is what, like you click on the empty space, and then if you move your mouse, just you click and move your mouse towards the right side, then you can see this blue kind of window is like say appearing, and this is like say selection window. But when you moving your mouse on the right hand side, that time this selection window, if the object is completely covered, then only it will select that object. On other hand, if you move towards the right left hand side, in this case even partially like your object is there inside that window, then it will get selected. So this you should remember. Again I press the escape to remove that. So I am just removing this line and then I am pressing delete, right? So that line will get deleted. Now again, by chance if you don't want to delete that line, you can this use undo also, right? So undo and redo options are available here, or otherwise typically you can use Control Z. Like sometime instead of enter, you may use a space bar, or like say enter from your keyboard, right? Now the option of that scroller that I told you, right, there is a scroll on that. So if you press that roller, then you can see that pan, and by that you can move your like say drawings from here to there, right? Definitely you can use zoom in and zoom out also. With that, this pan option is available. Otherwise you can use from here pan option, and you can move your objects, right? So but please remember, by this you are moving whole like say window, right? It's not particular object, but everything is moving with this one, right? So if you want to exit, you can either press escape or like say right click and then exit, right? So same way, like say zoom this like say zoom extend, if you click, then whatever may be the object like you have drawn, all will be zoom in such a way that all will appear into the single window, right? So that way you can do it. So this is how you can create a line. Now you may click on the line, and then maybe we'll create a rectangle. So let's assume that this height is 1000. Now you can see my ortho is on. That's how my line is perfectly vertical, I enter the, like say, this 1000 and enter, right? So I can go here and then again I can make, like say, 2000 and then enter, right? So and then I can simply, like say, click on the end point and it will close this one, right? Now I have created this rectangle. So this is how you can use the line command. Now next option is polyline. So there is a difference between polyline. Now we'll see that. Now I'm using a polyline. Now what I am doing, I'm, like say, drawing another rectangle, which is, like say, starting from this point, and then length I'm defining, say, 2000, enter. Then vertical again 1000, enter. And then this side 2000, enter. And then this end point and then enter, or, like say, exit, right? So now you may see that this two rectangle looks same, but there is very much big difference between these two, is that one we have created using line, another one we have created using polyline. So when you create with a line, so each line segment, like here you can see that it is separate, right? So like if you click on one line, only that particular line will get selected. But on other hand, if you click on the polyline, then it will, all lines will be selected. So here all lines are connected, right? So there are a number of, like say, benefit of polyline, as well as sometimes we misuse this like say line only, right? In fact, you can convert this polyline into a, like, simple lines, or, like say, from the single line segment to a polyline, right? So that is also possible. Next, like circle. So you can use this circle, right? So like if you click below this, then there are some options are available. First, like say, center and radius, right? So for example, I wish to create a center. Let's assume that my circle should start from this midpoint, right? And then I have to define a radius. So radius I can define, like say 250 mm. So enter. So my circle got created, right? So another way is, like, you may use, like say, center and diameter. For example, like here also I want to make the same circle, but previously I entered, like say, 250. This time I am entering the diameter, and which is, like say, same thing, right? Here we have entered diameter, here we have entered radius. So another option is 2-point circle. That means it should pass from the 2 point. For example, this point and maybe this point, this diagonally opposite point, right? So yeah, my ortho is on. Let me off the ortho, and then now you can see that the circle is passing from this two selected point, right? Other option is 3-point circle. So it will pass from any selected 3 points, right? For example, the like let's assume that it should pass from this midpoint, and let's assume that this midpoint. So it will create a circle which will pass from all the selected 3 points, right? So like that, a number of options are available, like say tangent, radius, tangent. So let's assume that we wish to make like say some okay. So now let's assume that we wish to make this tangent. So now you have to select 3 lines. So the circle will be tangent to this circle, this line, and this line, right? So your circle now it fitted in such a way that it is tangent to all 3 selected line. Another option is, like say, tangent radius. So you can select this 2 line, and then you can define what can be the radius. I'm like entering 1000, 100, and then enter. So like say this circle got created, which is tangent to this both and has a radius of 100, right? So that's how you can create this circle, right? Arc also, like same way you can, like say, define say start point, end point, and center. That way you can use this arc command, right? So we are not like doing it more now here. But rectangle, like say, you can, instead of, like say, by using this line, what you can do, you can just define 2 diagonally opposite point. For example, this is a line I have. I'm just moving this line from here to here. Now I wish to have a rectangle of which this is a diameter, right? Sorry, diagonal. So I'll just click on rectangle. I have to start point and then diagonally opposite point, right? So I can have the rectangle this way also, right? Even there are like say polygon, so polygon can be created. Now first of all, when you create on polygon, you need to tell the number of size. So I'm like say I want to make a pentagon, so I'm like clicking 5 and then enter, right? 5 and then enter, right? So yeah, like here you get an option whether it should be inscribed or circumscribed. So inscribed means like say your pentagon will be inside the circle, and circumscribed means like say circle will be inside that pentagon, right? So now let's assume that it is inscribed circle, and then you need to tell the like say radius of that circle, and that radius, let's assume that it is maybe like say 200, right? So like this is how you can create this like say pentagon, right? Now that again I am selecting pentagon, sorry, polygon, and now this time I want to make a hexagon, and then now again you can select the center. This time let's assume that it is circumscribed. So like say if you select the circumscribed, then here you need to tell the radius of the circle, which will be like say tangent to all the edges, right? So that you can tell. Again I am writing like say 250 and enter, right? So now my circle, if I fit, that circle will be fit inside this like say hexagon, and it will be tangent to all the line, and that circle will be having a radius of 250. Whereas here if I draw the circle, that will pass from all these corners, or these corners of the pentagon, and that will have a radius of I think 200. That is what I have given. So that's how you can create this line. Then very important part is like a hatch command is used to like say so show some very specific detail. For example, like say you want to like fill this object with something. Maybe there are like a number of options are available. For example, concrete, you want to show that this is my like some object which is like having a concrete. So you can select just then you click on your left click and you can enter, right? So you can see this hatching. So a number of like say different hatchings are available, right? Maybe you can select that hatching whichever you feel. Apart from that, you can also like say change the scale of hatching. Change the scale of hatching means now let's assume that this is like say 1, so I'm making it say 0.5. Now you see what will happen. Okay, 0.5 and taking it is taking. Now the scale of hatching has reduced, so more like say detail you can see, or otherwise you can make it 2, and then you can see that the scale has increased. So that way you can set that scale, right? So you can use some other type of like say hatching also. Another way of showing the detail is like say gradient, right? So hatching, even like say some other options are available. Even solid is another option. This typically wall that you show, and then like say if you want to show some other decorative or like things, that can also be possible. So now let's go with the gradient. So gradient, like say you will have, first of all you need to select some object, right? So let's say you select this gradient option. Now here you can select like how you want to show that gradient. So like say gradient, and then you select the object. Yes, here you should remember that whenever you select like say hatching or gradient, that time it will be possible only in the closed boundary, right? So even if you have something open, that then it won't work, right? So that is what is like say gradient is, right? Yeah, gradient, like I told you. What else is there? Yeah, spline sometime like say to show some landscape and then architectural shape, you may use this spline, and then you can create such splines, right? This is also like okay, point, like if you want to create a point, you can create a point. Maybe they may not be visible because they are so small, right? So it is not possible to visible, but if you select them, then you will understand that points got created. Sometimes they also need we need those points, right? Then this is very important part, that divide. So now like say for example, this curve I want to like have a segment each maybe of certain dimension, or maybe of like say this total length I wish to divide into some 20 equal parts. So I'll select this plan, and then if I press 20, then enter. So now here the dots are, that points are like say put on this line, which divided this into equal 20 part. But you may not able to see this point. Why? Because this, they are just a point and they'll have the same thickness of this line, so it is not visible, right? To make them visible, what you can do, you can click on this utility and then point style, and then maybe you can select point style, and then some scale also you can select, and then if you click OK, then you can see that points, right? So now these points are like say divided this into 20 equal parts, right? So again maybe that's point scale, and let's reduce this scale 1. Okay, now you can see that it is divided into 20 equal parts, right? You may count them. So this total length is divided into 20 equal parts. You may use like say another option, measure. So you have to tell what should be the segment size actually. So whatever may be the number of division, but it will cut that, this point will be kept on that particular let's say distance, right? And then if there is like some extra part, that will be like at the end you can see that extra part. So yes, this other option may not be like required. Sometimes this this option may be to show some architectural things you can use. So by this you can create like some circle like this, right? So this is what, so like to show cloud or something, you may use this, right? So these are like say some important like say drawing command that we use, right? Then yeah, then the next like say part is modify. So in modify, what you can do, you can like say whatever you are drawn, you can like say if you want to change into that, so that you can do. So some of the important command that I'll discuss from here. Erase, like say you can use, instead of erase you can use delete also. So like say if you click on erase and if you select some object, then that object select you and then enter, so that object will get erased, right? Control Z if you do, or undo you do, it will come back, right? So first move means like say I want to move this like say particular object to like some other place. So I can select this and I can move, right? For example, I wish to move this circle from here to some other location. So like I have to select the circle, then I have to select the reference point, right? So I can select the reference point, and now you can see that intersection is selected, and then I can put it like say here also. So I have moved that object, right? So please remember, pan like whole, all drawings are moving together. In move, only that particular object is moving, right? So that's how this move command use. Definitely you can use for the multiple like say objects also. You can select multiple object, and then you can use like say move command, and then this, like say this one and this one I wish to move. So like say I can click on move, you take some reference point, and then you can move that, right? So it is like say move from here. So that is what move. Then rotate. So if you want to rotate some object, that can be used. For example, like say click on rotate, and then this pentagon I wish to rotate by certain degree. So I select the object and then enter. So now my object got selected. Then you have to define some reference point. Let's assume that this is a reference point about which I would like to rotate this pentagon. So I should select it, and then using this cursor also you can like say specify the rotation angle, or otherwise you can mention that rotation angle, say 45 degree, then it is rotated by 45 degree, right? So that way you can rotate the object, right? So that's how we use. So very important command is a trim command. One of the widely you need that command is a trim, and opposite to that is extension. These two very frequently we need. So what trim will do, that we first of all we understand. So it cuts the line till the next object. For example, if I click here, then only up to the circle this line will be deducted, right? So now if you click, it will be like say deducted, right, or deleted, or it is trimmed, right? So that's how you can use this trim command, right? So like again, so I'm just trimming this part, right, and then enter or escape, so you can come out of the that command, right? Now opposite to that, let's go with the extension. Now what extension will do, now if I just select any particular line, so it will extend, like say if you bring this to this end, then it will try to extend this side. If you are like say opposite side, it will extend to opposite side, right? So again you select this one. Yeah, here why it is not extending, because this is polyline, so that's how it can be extend only at the end. For example, if you do this, then definitely like on this side it will extend. If you bring your cursor on this side, so other end, so it will extend on other side, right? So that way. Now I'll extend this line, right? So I can extend it, and then I can use like say trim to deduct this extra part, so I can again got the same object, right? So that's how this trim and extend is useful. Like say erase, I already told you. Copy, like say typically you can create like say same object again. So for example, this hexagon I have, and I wish to like have this hexagon multiple copies of it. So I can either select copy command and then I can select the object, or I may select the object and then I can click on the copy. So for all modification option this is true. Either you select first command and then select the object, or you select the object and then you press on that particular command, right? So then like say you can copy it, right? So that's what, like you can select the object, and then copy, specify the reference point, and wherever you wish to put that, there you can put this object, right? So let's assume that I wish to put on the four corner of this rectangle, so I can put it on the four corner of rectangle, right? So that's how you can use this copy command. Then mirror is like say you can create a mirror object of existing. I'll tell you how it can be practically useful. Now if you take any apartment building, then the units in apartment building, each flat will have almost same like say geometry. Only difference is like one is a mirror image of other, right? So that time you can select and you can create a mirror, right? For example, I wish to create exactly same object, but which is like say mirror to this one. So what I'll do, I'll just like say mirror line I should have. So I'm just drawing this as a reference, or the mirror line with reference to this, like it can be drawn. It is not mandatory that you must have a line. You can directly select these points also, and by that you can create a mirror. So now you can click a mirror and then select the object, then enter, and then like say first point of mirror and second point of mirror, right? And then it will ask you whether you would like to keep the source object or whether you want to erase that. So by default it will be no, and we are not like say removing that, right? So now you can see that mirror object got created, right? So same way again, like say I want to make a mirror of it on upper side. So let's say mirror, and then from this intersection point to this intersection point, and then enter. So now you can use this mirror command this way, right? So that's what like say mirror command is. Fillet, like say if you have some corner like this and you want to make the corner like say circular, then you can use this fillet. Now explode command. Now if you come here, this is like say rectangle which is created with the polygon, right? So I want to convert this into a just line. So what I can do, I can use this explode, and if I select the object and if I enter, now each part become like say separate, right? So that's how this explode command can be useful. So if you, like say objects are connected, then you can explode them. Right, so opposite to that, like say there is a join command also. Like say if you have selected this like line segment, and if you click on this join, so this will join and it will convert this into a single polyline, right? So that's what like say this explode is. Stretch, maybe you can stretch some part, but that is not very required. Sometimes we need this scale, so you select this one and then you can select the object and then specify like say the reference point. This is my reference point. Let's assume that I wish to make the circle of double size, right? So I can give the scale as a 2 and then enter, so it will make a circle of double size, right? That's how you can use the scale. Yeah, definitely if you give the scale less than 1, then it will like say for example I want to make this circle small. So what I can do, I can use a scale, I can select the object and then enter and then specify the reference point. So this is reference point, and then I just want to make point 2 times the original circle, and now you can see that it has like say reduce the size of that circle. So in fact, if you want to do it for whole like say object, then for all object also you can do same thing, right? So that's how this scale command is. Array like say yeah, let me take this pentagon. I'm copying that, I'm selecting reference point, and then I'm putting it here, right? Now I just want this pentagon like say some 4 by 4, like say I want to make this pentagon like say 16 pentagon I wish, and they should be arranged in like say rectangular fashion. So I can use this array option, right? So here you can see that rectangular array or along the particular path or polar, that can be selected. So let's select rectangular array, then select the object and then enter. So by default it will create. Now number of column, like you can see, that's a 4. I can make it like say 6, that way also you can create. And then this rows are like say 3, so I maybe make like say 9 and then 9, right? So that way you can create such an array. You can specify the distances and all also, that is, but we don't need more. Now here if you see that if I select one pentagon, all are getting selected. So here also you can use this explode command, and you select this, and then if you enter, now each array will be behave like separately, right? So that is what like say this explode command is useful. So you can do that along the like say this polar fashion also, but that is not required now. So other options may not be required, right? So these are like say very important like say command, that is like say draw and modify, right? So that's what like say from the module 2 and module 3, this is the things that we have to discuss. Now next module is like say about the text, right? So yeah, definitely there are many other options are available, but they may not be required for your normal 2-dimensional drawing, so I'm not discussing them, right? So then coming to annotation, so like say if you want to write some text, right? So for that you can use this like say text box, multi-text. Actually this is M text or multi-text option will be selected. Single line also you can select. So like say starting point, end point, in this like say whatever you type, it will be saved, right? Yeah, if you make any like say grammar spelling mistake, then it will show you that option. You just click on that and then you can select the correct option, and then in maybe once you do that, you may click on site. Now you might have observed that is created with so small font size that we cannot use without zooming it, right? So for that, what you can do, you can select this one. Definitely there are like lot of option. One, like you select this one and then you change the scale like say 200 and then enter and then click outside. So now you can see that font size has changed. So this is one way. Definitely you can change permanently or like say for that particular drawing. So here you click and then here like say this A symbol that is available, and then manage the text style that you should select, Here also you can change the font type, like say Time New Roman, or like say that any font size you can select, then bold, italic, that typical option what you see. And then text height I am making 200, right? So then click on current set, yes, and then apply and close. Right, so now if I write, it will by default take, let's say, this font size of 200. Now you see it is taking by default 200 text height, right? And then it become a Time New Roman instead of Arial. So that way you can change the text size and text like say height. Next important is like say dimension. Maybe if you click on this line, so you may wish to see like say what is this length, then you can directly click here and you can see this one. Now what it is, like say 2207.77 mm, right? So this length is this much. I think it is not even selected here, so big corners and this, yeah. So this line is 2236.07 mm, right? But the way it is showing is not correct, and the text size by default, like we are defined text size is like say 200, so it is considering 200, right? So even if you want that to be different, you can do that, right? So for that, what you can do, you come to this like say dimension and then manage dimension, and then here you can do some modification, right? So modify, so primary unit, and then here you can use instead of comma that point. So and then precision also you can like say decide like up to what precision you want to see the reading. So now after that decimal point only one digit is appearing. If you want more, then it will show you the more also, right? So this is how you can set. Now since we are working with mm, so no need to see anything after like say decimal point, so that's all. So instead of like say comma, I'm using decimal point, and then okay, current set, close, right? So yeah, that like say now you can see the dimension directly in mm. So another important part, like say it is difficult to see that this line is whether it is main line or dimension line. For that, what maybe you can do, like even this arrow is too small, so this can also be adjusted here in the dimension. So like say modify dimension, and then modify, and then like say first line you select here, this offset you can make say 200, and this 200 means now you can see from this actual object, the line will, this extension lines of the dimension will start from 200 distance. So to maintain the uniformity of this dimension with reference to the main line, you can select some specific distance, right? After the arrow also, like you wish to see that line, so there like you can put 100, and now you can see that after this dimension line it has extended by 100 mm, right? So that's how you can use it. In fact, if you don't want to see these lines also, then also it is possible, you can remove this dimension lines, right? Even extension line can also be removed, and you can just see that like say lines, right? Then arrow, like you can select different types of arrow, like say for example this architectural arrow. Let me decide first that size so you'll understand. So I'm making this arrow maybe of say size 100, right? And then if I click here, now you can see that arrow size has increased, right? And then architectural, like say arrow I'm using, so select architectural arrow, and then okay, and then current set, close. Right, now you can see that this dimension extension line started from 200. Definitely you can move it little further, right? So that's how you can like say differentiate from this main line to these lines, right? So what else options we can modify here, that modify text. So I told you that text size by default, like it will take a 200, which is like say by default that we are using. Then fit like say either arrow or the text that it will fit. primary unit we already decided, and then alternate unit. Like say if you want to show both, like say feet inches as well as like say this so you can select this one. You have to like say decide this like say scaling factor. That scaling factor definitely depends on your input unit and then what unit you wish to see. So here we are like say given a and then it is converting it into inches. So that's how this multiplying factor is like this. And then up to what precision you want to see, that is also can be seen, right? So and then where you want to put that alternate unit, like say I wish to see that as an engineering. So like say it will show this feet inches, and I wish to see that below the main unit, so it will show like this, right? So then okay, current set, close. So now this like say is also shown in the feet inches, right? So this way you can like say change this units, right? Unit time. So yeah, this line, if you click on the linear, then what will happen, either even if you take this 2 point, either it will show the horizontal or vertical dimension only, right? So this is 200, but if you want to see that aligned one, then like you can click on this one and this one, and then along the line it will show you this dimension, right? So that way you can use this dimension. You can even insert a table, like say whatever maybe the size of table, that number of column and rows that you want, that can be entered to show like some specific details, right? So yeah, this is what like we have done. Then the layer, very important like say part. Many time what happen that we may need to have lot many detail into a single drawing. For example, if you are working with like say building plan, then in that maybe you can show the furniture, you can show like say the plumbing detail, you can show electric wires, you can show like I say structural details. So many things are there, and lot many time you may not need to see all of them at a time, right? So for that again dimensions line, so you can have a number of like say details. So for that, like what you can do, you can create some layers, right? So for like that you can click on this layer, right? So like here you can click and then new layer can be created, or if you click here, then also you can get an option to create a new layer. So like I'm clicking here and new layer is created. So I'll give some name now. Let's assume that walls I would like to show. So walls, like I'm putting, right? Now by default black and white color, that is like say selected here. Again type of line, that is continuous line I'm using. The line width I'm selecting little thicker line, so let's assume that is 0.3 thick. So that I have selected. Then next I wish to show like say columns also, column. So column I have selected. Maybe this I don't need that thick, so let it be that thick only. Yeah, but column I wish to show with some different color, so I'm using say red color to show the column, right? Then what else, like say I wish to show like say dimension, so I need another layer. So I am creating this dim as a dimension, and then let's consider the color, like maybe say this blue color, and then okay, right? So dimension like say will be appear in the blue color, right? So maybe okay, we'll yeah, let's start with this much. If required, we can create some more. Maybe yeah, hatch, like say we can use hatch command. So for hatch again you can use some other color, water like say you wish. Maybe I'm using say dark gray color for that, right? So this few like say things I have created. Let me delete this all and try to create one simple plan, maybe a single room or like say 2 room, that will try to create. So I have selected this all object and then I am deleting this one, right? So let's start with like say first line. So like for example, I am drawing now, my ortho is off, so I mean then it will be difficult to draw exactly horizontal line. So I'm clicking this like say ortho, or like I'm doing on, and then I am writing a dimension. So let's assume that the room may be like say 3 meter, or like say 3000 long, right? And then another line, like say here it is 5000 long, and then again 3000 long, and then this is another, let's say up to end point, right? And then escape. Now this is like say internal dimension of the room, how to show the wall thickness to this one. So this is just like say plan view, right? So I wish to make a room of size say 3000 by 5000 right? Now I want to show the wall thickness that will be outside this one, right? So how you can do that? You can select offset now, and then select say 230 and then enter, right? So then I can click on this side, this side, this side, and then another side, right? And then I mean definitely I have to close this part, right? So that's a disadvantage, like if you are working with the line. Now if you would have a polyline, then it would have been easy. So I'll show that also. But if you are doing this one, then how you can do this? Maybe I'll just create some temporary line. Let me close this ortho. I'm just creating this temporary line. Definitely there are some ways, like you can stretch this one, and you can use this extension command, or otherwise you may use this extension command also, like this, right? So this is n number of ways are available. So now I'm selecting this one, and then it will show me some extension option. So then this is okay. The next one is like say from here to here, right? Then like say this is also I'm extending from up to this line, so I've extended it. I'm extending this to this, right? And then this one to this one, right? And it will show me the apparent like say intersection point up to that. Now this is how I can create. But let's assume that I am creating a rectangle using a polyline. Let's assume that there is another room right here, it is. So which has like say this size as a again maybe 3500, right? And then so polyline, from here it is, let's assume that 3500 like this, and then this dimension is, let's assume that it is oh, I should do ortho on. Oh, let me do it again. Did it? So I'm using my ortho on is on here now. I'm starting from this point, and then this length is say 3500. Enter. Then like say down it is 400 and 4500. Enter. Then like say up to this, like say I want, right? Now what I can do, I can use offset command, and now you see I don't need to do each line separately. Directly I can select this one and I can do. So first of all I need to define offset, which is like say 250 yeah, sorry, 230 and then I'm selecting this one, right? So this is how I can created this like say plan. But again I can trim this part, so I can use this trim command to trim this one, even here like say that lines are getting overlapped, so I can click do this. Now again if you see this line and this line is separate, so I may select them and I can use a join command to make a single line, right? So again here also I can use this trim command. Let's use this trim command. I can trim this part, this part, this part, right? So now like say some plan is like I have prepared. Now next what I have to do, like I wish to show some door here. Okay, first of all, yeah, that's the important part that I missed, that this should be like say wall, right? So I should keep this into a wall, right? So this is a wall, but now if you see that wall thickness is not shown. Why? Because my this thickness wall line weight is off. So if I click on this one, now you can see that line weight is up here. By chance if it is not like shown this option to you, then what you can do, you can like say click on these three lines, and then here line weight should be selected. If you don't see that, you can select it from here and then click here, right? So you can see this one. Now let's put some doors and window to this one, right? So now what I can do, I wish to make a door, right? So let's assume that I want to make that door here. So again yeah, by default I should be in the wall layer first of all, right? Then only I can do it. Let's say from here to here I have. Now I'll keep an offset of say 1000 mm. So my door width is say 1000 mm. So like I'm putting it, and then I have to cut this part, right? So I trim. So this is trim. So now like this is like an opening, right? So that opening I have. Again I wish to show like say window also, right? So windows can also be put, but before that let's put some opening here also. So I'm just like say extending this line to this line, right? And then offset say again 1000, enter, and then yeah, that's my polyline. Then trim. So I'm trimming this part. Even I have to trim this line and this line, right? So maybe first of all let me use some command. I am joining all the lines which are close together, and then again I am exploding them so that each line becomes separate, right? So this is like say now I have few details. Okay, next what I wish to see is like say some windows I wish to put in this one. So let's assume that I explode it should be. Okay, so now let's assume that I wish to keep some window here. So what I'll do, yeah, you can create a block or group also. For example, let me create something. So window I wish to create. So yeah, for that also you can create another layer as such. Let it be like say new layer, and then window. Window, right? So you can again define the color. Maybe I am using some different color here. So you have like a number of options to select the particular color. So I'm just selecting this option. Okay, and then this thickness let it be this one only. Okay, and then close this one, right? So now I wish to make like say here that window. So what I can do, I wish to make it exactly at the center. So I can like say draw one line here to here. Yeah, I should be in the window like say layer. So I'm selecting this window layer. Now let me delete this one. Now if I draw the line that will be in the window like say layer. So that's how you can see the color and thickness as per that, right? And then like say my window is assume that it is 1500 wide. So like say I should have offset of 750 on both the sides. So select this one on this side and then on this side, and then I'm deleting this part, right? So maybe what next I can do, I can have a rectangle, which will be like say for this one. I am just selecting those lines which I have created, right? And this is my window, but definitely window, like you should have like say window frame also. Depending upon type of window you can decide this detail. And then like say I'm creating this with the 20 mm thick window frame, so I'm just like putting this one here. So this is my window. Definitely for more detail, like you can even like say have this offset, and then I have to have like some wooden like say section here. So maybe I'm taking like say 20 mm offset, right? And this part I should show using like a hatch command. I am using hatch command, and then like say if it is possible to show the wood, so there is no any specific like say symbol for wood, but let's assume that solid, and then let it be this one, and then click here and click here, right? So that's what. And then I can use a trim command. I don't want this part, I don't want this part, this part, right? So this is how you can create a window here, right? Further, like you can even provide the door as well. So yeah, now what I can do, I can select this window and then I can group it, right? So like all object will be grouped now. So even if I select one part, then all like say relevant part of that window will be selected, and then I can select a copy. I can put this window at some other location also. Let me keep this off. Now I wish that window to be fitted here, and then again copy this window. I wish to put it here also, and then move. You can use move command, and then click here. Right, so these are some location. Maybe again one more window I can keep it somewhere. Maybe here I should keep. Okay, on this. Okay, instead of here, let it be. Yeah, let me rotate it because I wish to keep on this wall. So enter, and then this one, and then say 90 degree. So it is like this. Now you select this one, and then click on move. So this corner should be moved up to this point, right? So now I have window like at this location. So yeah, this is what I have now. Now next okay, if you want to put like somewhere else also, you can select some more windows. This, let's assume that I wish to keep it on this wall here, or maybe I wish to move like say no, let it be there only. That's okay. Okay, so these are my windows. Now I want to show the door also. So how I can show, I can use like say option that first of all I need a midpoint of this one. So let me select this midpoint. Yeah, this instead of window I can rename it also, right? So like say let me make it, instead of window I am writing the name as, here you should see that rename layer, door and window, door and window, that is what name I am giving now instead of just window, right? So next like I make a circle like say center and radius. So this is my center and this is radius, right? Now then I'll use trim command. So trim this part, right? Maybe this part is also not required. and then I can remove this one, and then I'll make a door opening can be shown like this also, right? So then let's say select trim, and then what I should do, trim it. Right, so this is how you can show the door also, right? So this is doors and window that I have kept. Now what else, like let's assume that we wish to show the columns also, right? So position of column and orientation of the column. So for that I have to create a rectangle, right? Let's assume first column will put here. So you can use this rectangular command. It can start from here and then diagonally opposite point you can write, so that 230 mm is correct. So if you tap, then another dimension will be like say appear. Okay, sorry. So like say you click on rectangle, like say you are considering this corner and this one. So let's assume that that is like say 450 mm long and width is 230 mm only. So enter. So now this is my rectangular column. But yeah, it is now created into the wall. So let me assume it like say column, right? So this is now column is created. I wish to show that hatching of concrete here, so I select this one and then concrete, and then I should click on this one, enter. So now maybe that looks little, I should change the scale, so let it be 0.5. 0.5 does not work. Point. Oh, why it is this one? Okay, then 0.1. Okay, maybe this is okay, or I should make it little 0.2. Okay, this 0.2 looks good. So now my column is ready, but I just created that using window layer, so I should change that. First of all, this should be using column, so this is using column, and this concrete should be like say using I think we haven't created hatch like we have created, so use a hatch, right? So this is how like my column is looking, right? Now I can put this column at some other location also. Definitely I should use, okay, now I have selected this column, copy, and then like say I'm putting it to this corner, like say I'm putting it here also, but I need to change the orientation, right? So I should select it and then click on rotate. So I'm clicking here and then say 90 degree, and then it is like rotated. So again I can select this one to keep at some other corner, copy, and then like I can keep it here also, right? So yeah, maybe I need to keep them in at the midpoint also. So what I can do, yeah, first of all this should be exclude. Okay, these two lines should be joined. Yeah, right. So now I wish to keep one column like here. So what I can do, I can select this one. Now exactly like I wish to put it in at the midpoint, so copy, I can select the midpoint and then I can move till the midpoint of it, and that's how you can keep this column in the midpoint. Same way, like I wish to keep one column here also, so like I can move, I can copy this column and then copy, and then let's put it here, right? So now I have just created a column, maybe some column I can keep in the middle also, so that orientation should be like this. So I'm selecting this column, then copy, and then midpoint, and then midpoint of this wall, right? So I am keeping this exactly at the midpoint, right? So here you don't need maybe some, Yeah, maybe this one more column I can keep here also. So copy, and then I'm selecting the midpoint because I wish to keep it exactly in the middle of this one. Right, so this is how like I kept the columns. Now next what I can do, I can show the dimension of this all. I can add some text to this one. Yeah, I should have some steps here, so again I'll go back to that wall and then I'll show some steps here. So let's assume that trade of the steps is like say 300. So offset to two steps that I have created. Then I'm just creating like say this one. I can use the extension also instead of that creating a new line, right? So I can extend this line or I can use a new line instead of this one, right? So I just created steps as well. Now let's assume that I wish to show like say some dimensions. So for example, like say I wish to know first of all like what are the internal dimension. So I can select align and then from this to this I should know what is that dimension. That is like say 5000 mm, and from here to here it is 3000 mm. So now I should mention that detail here, right? So I'll click on the text. Yeah, this should be into like say dimension. I think we already created one layer for that. So like say you be into that layer and then here you type room number 1, say 1, enter, and then you should mention the dimension. So 3000 x by 5000, right? You can little drag this so the dimension will be fit to that block only. And then few options like here you can see those options are typically the same what you use for your other softwares, right? Like a Word and all. So I don't need this dimension line now. I don't need this dimension now, right? I can move this one. I can directly use this rectangular say selection point and then I can move it, right? And another room also I can add the dimension. So copy and then like I'm putting it here, but this dimension again I don't know. So let me first of all measure the dimension. So I think from here to here it is 3040, and from here to perpendicular this is 4045. So like I can change this one to 3040 and this is 4045, right? So this let me delete it. Let me delete this one and let me make it this room number 2, right? So this I have created. The size of the rooms are mentioned. Now again what you can do, you can show the external dimension. So let me first of all change this to a dim layer. So even this should be into a dim. So this is not window, these are the dimension that we have to show. So dim layer, right? The next like say now I am into dim layer and I am showing this dimension, right? Maybe like say from center of this column to center of this column, right? This distance I am writing here. Again from center of this column to center of this column, this dimension I'm mentioning that where the columns are located, that can be shown, right? Similarly like say from from the center of this column, maybe that depends like what can be the size of column, but like say you can show it from the corner. So corner is not going to change. This center will be remains this one, but this width of the column may change depending upon the design. So like better to show with the some fixed reference point. So this corner will be fixed, right? So you can show this dimension, right? So yeah, maybe you can add some more text. So this is window, so if you want to write a window schedule, then you can write down that window schedule here also. Maybe here you can write down D1, like for example I should go to again yeah, let it be dim only, and then here, so like say D and then 1. So I wish to make it suffix, so I can like say use this suffix, and then it will be like say suffix to the D1, right? So you can then later on create like say your door and window schedule, right? So I can use this one, so copy this one, enter, and then I can write down this like say window schedule also, so I can put it this one. So instead of D it should be W, right? W1. So this is also W1. So all windows are of my same size. If you have different size of windows, then you can show those like say different size of windows, and then the schedule of it, right? So I can select this one, copy, and then paste it here, right? So maybe I can show some external dimensions also, from this to this match, from here to here this dimension is like say this much. So now here you can see that like here like say this size cannot be fit inside, so it is came out, right? So that that automatically it can be decided, but if you mention that the dimension should be mentioned inside, and then first preference should be given to the dimension, then it will just write inside, and then like say arrows will be like say hidden behind this text, right? So I can bring it little away so that it can, there should not be overlap, right? So I'm writing it here. So yeah, this dimensions also can be mentioned. Okay, this is how you can show typical detail. Definitely you can add some name to this one using this text and other thing. So this is how you can prepare the plan. I hope this much information is sufficient for you. Yeah, just last part, like how to plot. Definitely you can prepare exactly like say layouts, but I'm not going into that detail. But you can simply use this print command to create a PDF file of it. You just click here, then maybe high quality print that you can define. You can decide some resolution of this figure, then you can select the page size, maybe A1 or A0, whatever maybe the size that you wish to make. Like let's assume that you wish to make like say A3, and then yeah, if you click on display, so whatever is displayed that will get printed. But then you select this window, and if you select this window, you can select exactly what part you wish to like say plot. So you are selecting this one, then you select to the center, so it will automatically fit to this one. You can even select this landscape, otherwise prototype. So like say I'm selecting landscape, and then you can click OK, and then you can save it. So this model number, yeah, by default it will show you some names, and then I'm creating save. So yeah, now you can see that the PDF file has created, and you can take the print of this one, right? So this is how you can prepare the plan, right? So I think that is good enough for today, and then you may save this project and then close this one.